Consider instead the infinite expansion of the dough of the cookie-verse. Zimmer growled. No worries, Zimmer. This is an analogy of edification. Scientists running experiments at cosmological scale and quantum ingredient size determine that the dough space of the cookie-verse is expanding. What is more is that the cookie-verse isn't unique. It's just one of an infinite number of cookies cut out and baked from a singularity on a cookie sheet that inflated faster than light for a fraction of a second, relatively speaking. When the expansion stopped, each cookie, at its own special moment, baked itself with a big bang in its own fine temperature, randomly selected cookie law constants to become a cookie in time with thermodynamics, bringing it to consume itself and gradually be digested, in some instances by sentient beings evolved within the cookie. Each cookie verse, if it had sentient products evolving from its special constant physical values selected by random chance from a nearly infinite number of variables modeling cookie recipes, is simpler with an infinite number of variables and with constants being just nominal selections of ingredient baking temperatures and times, would find its sentience consuming the cookie itself. Sentience within a cookie verse would learn that the constants of the cookie that are baked in might have been very different indeed. Instead of gravity having the value of coconuts, it might have been sugar sprinkles. Instead of various quantum values of vanilla, it might have been chocolate or peppermint, etc. The most informative and marvelous discovery of cookie baker mathematician scientists for themselves might have been the discovery that besides eternal inflation of cookie dough and infinite cookie verses, each cookie verse, dough from a cookie sheet branch, would expand in an infinite number of directions in what could be modeled with infinite dimensions of Hilbert space. Gauss Hilbert was one of the greatest of cookie baking theorists of all time. He consulted with Albertus Einstein concerning the nature of cookie dough and the general and special theories of cookie dough. Cookie dough is determined to stretch or collapse under the influence of dark matter, a very special ingredient, as opposed to dark energy, that can expand space-time again within a baked cookie. Evidently, cookie dough space can reappear within baked cookies as cookie verses remain within the eternal realm of the great cookie hosting all cookie verses. Our cookie verse was discovered to have resumed expanding about 250 years ago and may accelerate until it is no longer can be said to exist, amusingly, after the cookie verse has consumed itself with thermodynamics. There seems to be a self-cleaning oven implicitly contained within the space dough. The great cookie verse is comparable to an infinite fractal that can create infinite branches and cookie sheets within itself and infinite dimensions, with the signal difference that all of its cookies are variable constants, for there seems to be nothing constant except values of expansive space dough in mathematical forms, representing cookie-verse values, the latter being constant in the sense that they are always subject to change in the Parmenidean sense of water flowing under the bridge, always changing though the river never changes, as well as the opposite viewpoint of Heraclitus, that one can never step into the same river twice because it is always changing. What is in motion stays in motion except for the object itself because it is only moving in relation to other objects that aren't or that are moving at a different speed. The great cookie kernel is a tree of life, so marvelous and may occupy no more actual space than a singularity. It could possibly be an idea in the thought of the great cookie baker with hyperdimensional variable fractals requiring no space to exist in whatsoever.